Hello lads and ladies and welcome back to the channel. It's Monday. We are back reviewing Sky Bet League One on the channel. Again, international weekend, so a depleted fixture list, but all well and good. We've still got Sky Bet League One to talk about. Some big games happening last Tuesday night as well at both ends, from bottom of the league to top of the league as well. An absolute thrilling game that on the Sky TV cameras. We had, there were still quite a few games over the weekend, spread across 2 days. A few games on the Saturday, and again Sheffield Wednesday on Sky again, playing bottom of the league Forest Green Rovers, who hadn't won a game for the best part of 3.5 months. So there could only been one outcome in that game, couldn't there? And that was a Sheffield Wednesday win, as we thought. But we are going to talk about League One in this stream as well, and we are back. So if you are here, let me know you can see and hear me okay as well, and let me know how you are and how your team got on this weekend as well. Dons are staying up. How's that for a turnaround? We will talk about MK Dons in due course. Hello Nappers, you okay? If it's to win the league, we'll talk about that later on as well. Hello Nat, hope you're well, mate. Evening, tuning to your live time for the first time. Ipswich fan, love to see it. Always love to see new members of the Cods Vlogs family as well. And if you are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe as we're here as well. That'd be massively appreciated. Lovely to meet you, Sue, at the weekend as well. Unfortunate result for you lot, but again, wish you well. Good club and a good set of supporters as well. I'm all good, thank you. Good weekend, good win. I actually met the whole Fleetwood Town team on Saturday, and I had plans of what I was going to say to them all. I was going to have a chat with Brown saying, look, you're doing this well, but you're not doing this so well, and I think you should be doing this. And I got to the door, and I bottled it, shook his hand and walked off. So, yeah. So, basically, I was a bit like, how can I explain it in League One terms? I'm a bit like Ipswich every year. There was the hype there, and they never seem to get over the line to do it. That's what I was like. But maybe this year Ipswich will finally do it and pluck up the courage and get out of League One as well. Fantastic result for us yesterday. Done as a favourite chatting. Brilliant result for kind of week for Plymouth when you think about it, and they're in great form as well. Hello, welcome all. Hello, mates. Pompey Vlogs, good to have you back. Thank you very much. Good to see you as well. So we'll start off with all the games as well. We'll start off at the Valley, where Charlton drew with Wycombe. Charlton extending their unbeaten run to 4 now in League One. In all 4 of those games, they have conceded, though. Only 1 clean sheet in 8 for the Addicts. Mid-table Addicts, I should call them, because that's what they are. You look at the record, we look at the form all season. It has kind of been, patches of wins, patches of draws, and patches of defeats. They've never really gone on a great patch of results, and they've never really they've gone on a couple of spells with a few without a win, but not dramatically bad, like a Portsmouth have done, like a Forest Green Rovers have done, where teams have nosedived down that table and struggled to get back in as well. But they're playing a Wycombe side that are hard to kind of break down. Wycombe have only won 2 in the first 7 under Matt Bloomfield. It was another draw for the Chair boys this weekend as well. And Charlton snuck into that top 12. Now, I think if you offered Charlton at the start of the year a top 12 finish, they'd be absolutely fuming, really. Because remember, I squeezed them into my top 10, and they weren't happy about that comment as well. But Wycombe's record against the top 12, it isn't brilliant. They've only won 7 out of 17, drawn 3, lost 7. And 2 of those 3 draws have come against the Addicts as well. So Wycombe, if they need to get into the playoffs, they have to improve on that record, really, because it will probably stop them from getting in those playoffs. They're only 3 points behind. Due to Derby and Bolton having a bit of a blip. I say blip, I think Bolton have won 1 in 4 and Derby have lost back-to-back games. We will come to Derby in a bit because that was a great result for Peterborough. I think it's a good point for Wycombe, considering the next 3 games. MK Dons and Forest Green Rovers at home. And they've also got sandwiched between there a nice easy trip to Portsmouth Road. I'm sure they will love that. But if anyone can go there and draw, certainly Wycombe are one of the very few teams you'd maybe have a feeling of getting something there. So we'll next go to Exeter, who, what's the time? And it's 5 past Accrington, I'm afraid, for the Stanley fans. That was Exeter's 13th win of the season, 35%, victory record in League One, 12th clean sheet of the season, 5 different goal scorers. Sam Nombe with his 14th goal of the season as well. Jay Stansfield finally ends his drought. What was it? 21, 22 games without a goal. Back in October against Fleetwood Town was the last time he scored to equalise at the time for the Grecians as well. And it was a great result because they've been kind of labelled, would they be able to still go after, Taylor left the football club and they brought in Gary Colwell, but they competed against the better sides and managed to beat the teams below them as well. Accrington have lost 2 games this week. They also lost to Plymouth Argyle, which we'll come to in a little bit when we talk about the top half of the table. It's 5 defeats and 6 for Stanley now. 3 wins in 19 games. That is just the form kind of back to December as well. Out of the games they played, and they played 38 games, they've conceded first in 24 of them, 17 of which they've lost the game. So they need to start getting that first goal in the game, because when they've got the first goal in the game, they've only lost once. So it just shows you how much stronger they are when they get that platform of getting the first goal. And a lot of the time, it's kind of even games when Stanley concede, because it took a little while for Exeter to open the scoring in that. And Accrington, obviously, the floodgates did open in the end. But great result for the Grecians. Accrington, are they as good as down? Not yet, because I still believe anyone up to Cheltenham can go down. However, Cheltenham are on 43 points. I don't think Accrington will go and get 8 more points than them, who are the kind of the top of the bottom 4 as well. Because also Morecambe are losing games of football. Cambridge aren't getting any points. Forest Green Rovers are pretty much dead and buried, although a great result yesterday for the Vegans as well. We'll go to the next game and we'll come back to the comments as well. So leave your questions in down below as well. Fleetwood got their 12th victory of the season at the weekend and now unbeaten in 5 at Highbury, winning 4 of those 5, all by the odd goal, 3 of which were 1-0. Again, great result for Fleetwood. Scored first in the game, deserved the lead. Lincoln get a goal back, soft ball in, good finish by Regan Poole, and then Fleetwood again get the goal and probably just about deserved the win. I thought Lincoln were very, very poor, if I'm honest with you. They've lost the last 3 games now, Lincoln, and it was their 9th defeat where they conceded first and they've lost the game. So, again, they're a little bit like Accrington, struggle when they go behind in the game. They do get a lot of draws, manage to come back or manage to either score first and draw the game. It's just that little bit of quality that's missing in key moments as well. Lincoln aren't a bad side. They've improved a lot. They do seem stronger. They do seem a little bit more willing to run. They do seem a little bit, creating a bit more chances. And they try to play football, which I can respect. But when they know they can go long and, kind of the game management was brilliant, I thought. So, a good result for Fleetwood. We take them all day. We're in the top 12. We were in the top 12. We went down a position from winning the game of football. Only that can happen to Fleetwood. So, because Exeter won 5-0, have a day off, lads. They go to 11th. Charlton go to 12th. And Fleetwood go to 13th. All 3 teams on 49 points. Fleetwood and Exeter will be desperate, especially those two, for that 50th point, because if you ask those two sets of supporters at the start of the year, it'll be avoid relegation and get to 50 points. That'll be the first aim of their supporters' checklist. To be fair, all season, Exeter haven't looked like going down. There was a time where Fleetwood looked like they could have gone down maybe late January, early February time, but since then, been one of the better teams in that mid-table bunch, really. Hey, mate, great to see you. Great to see you on Saturday. Great to be in the vlog. The ref was a Fleetwood fan. Good to meet you, Matt. Again, very knowledgeable Lincoln fan. Thank you very much for the support and coming up to us and having a little chat as well. First goal during the Colwell era for Stanham. Yes, just mentioned that. I was going through his statistics from last week before the show, and because I said he was one of the better strikers I've seen, because he made runs and he's been working hard and it's just not fell for him. Now he's got that goal, I think he'll go on a little bit of a run for you. And I also like the way it was in front of the Cop at Exeter as well. So, because it's the first time he scored in front of that end, isn't it? All the others have been in front of the away supporters, as I know as well. It's still in our hands, says Nat. Very interesting. We'll come to that. We're going through the games quicker today to come to this battle because I'm hooked. I am literally like, you've gone to the cinema, you've had one bit of popcorn, the old box is gone. I am hooked and glued and I cannot take my eyes off it. It's the most entertaining promotion race I've seen in a long while because I'll be honest with you, 6 weeks ago, it looked to be very flat because you had Wednesday winning every week. You had Ipswich falling away a little bit. You had Plymouth being consistently good. So the top two looked done. And then the playoffs kind of looked pretty much done because Peterborough weren't winning. Wycombe, we were up and down at the start of Bloomfield's reign even. Now Derby and Bolton have gone on a blip. Wycombe have picked up a couple of decent results at the right moments. You've got Peterborough, who have gone on quite a good run. I think they've won the last 3 games, scoring 10 goals. Again, some decent sides in there as well. Your Burtons and your Derbys in there. Burton, I think, have been, since Dino came in, the 11th best team in the league, which is phenomenal considering they had 1 point from the first 7 games. And then you've got Portsmouth who've gone on a run, but they'll be kicking themselves. They could win 4 points outside the playoffs. What a turnaround that is. So I still think there's 5 teams fighting for 2 places for the playoffs, and there's 4 teams fighting for 2 places. But also you've got in League One, you've kind of got a 6 or 7 team relegation battle. And even the teams in the mid-table are still competing. Like, you may see them start to flake away with 4 or 5 games to go, but Fleetwood have won the last couple of games. Exeter went on a little bit of a time where I think they went 4 or 5 without a win, and they weren't great. They weren't playing great football, but they picked themselves up. The team that I'm worried about in the mid-table bunch right now is Port Vale. They've not been great in 2023. Maybe on the beach a little bit, but they still need a win. So it's been a good League One this year. There's been a lot of low quality, believe me, but the quality at the top is breathtaking. Like I say, will Wednesday bottle it? We'll come to that very soon. But if you could like the stream, it would help me out a lot. Also subscribe. We're getting closer to finally 10,500 subscribers. I just want to hit that, get that out of the way, and get on the road to 11K. So if you could help me out by getting your family, your friends to subscribe and also like the stream, that'd be massively appreciated as well. We'll go to MK Dons, who have won the last 3 games, all by a goal to nil. Again, now their record against the 5 teams below them, which are at current, Oxford United, Accrington Stanley, Morecambe, Cambridge, and Forest Green Rovers. They've won 7, drawn 2, lost 1. They've taken 23 points. That's 2.3 points a game. However, their record against teams above them right now, which is anyone from 19th upwards, they've won 4, drawn 4, lost 20, which is 0.57 points a game, which highlights why they are where they are. but also their record against the 5 teams below them is why they are where they are. Because last week they beat Accrington Stanley. This week they beat Morecambe. They beat Forest Green Rovers around Christmas time as well. Done the double over them as well. They beat Cambridge just recently at Stadium MK a couple of weeks ago as well. So all of a sudden you're beating these sides around you. I think they drew away at Oxford as well. I think that was one of the only games Carl Robinson did lose towards the end as well. So they've been pretty solid. So it's a really good win for MK Dons. So I still think need another 6 or 7 points, but they've got a couple of tough games coming up. But 9 points from 9 is a phenomenal return, and they will feel confident because they are better than a number of teams. And I think that next year they'll go again and probably be the top 12 team again. And they're probably the 3-year plan that MK Dons implemented 3 years ago as kind of will go again, because year 1 was the year where they finished just outside the playoffs. Year 2 was the year where they finished, was it 3rd in the end? And then year 3 was unfortunately where they've dropped off massively. But they'll be going again, and they're not a bad side as well. Again, we'll go to Peterborough against Derby now. Peterborough have won a whopping 20 games out of 38. They've scored in 28 games, of which they've scored twice or more in 20 games. Scored first in 18 matches and won those 18. So, scored first in 18 matches and won 18 out of the 20 wins, or when they scored first. It was a great result. And if I backed Peterborough to win at the weekend, I just think Derby's record against the better sides in the league, as you will, more away from home than at home, because away from home it's not, at home it's not bad. Barnsley away, they got battered. Ipswich, they lost in the end. Plymouth, they lost. Peterborough, they lost. These games, they're not brilliant in. So, although they've kept 15 clean sheets, you've still conceded in 23 games. 1 win in 5 now, back-to-back 2-0 defeats as well. It's a really difficult one for them to take, because you've lost to a direct rival, and there was a huge chance to make a lot of ground, and then kind of drag Bolton back into it, put pressure on them. But also you're adding pressure onto yourself now. They're still on 64 points. They probably need another 15, 16 points minimum to get in from the last 8 games. So they're going to have to up it. They've got 8 games, 4 of which are at home. You've got to aim to get 12 points at home. Then you've got to kind of think, right, we need another 7 points here, 6, 7 points minimum. Where they're going to come from. You've got to win 2, draw 1. So all of a sudden, Derby under pressure, where they're not winning games at the moment, you probably have to say, well, you've got to go and say, you may only be able to lose 1 game. So it's going to be an interesting one. But Peterborough have turned the screw in the last few weeks. They've been scoring goals, playing good football. Ferguson's done a good job since going back in there, and he's given Peterborough fans a lift. When he first came in, I bet 1 in 10 Peterborough fans probably thought they could still get the playoffs, could probably still win promotion, and he's brought the feel-good factor back. He's done very well in League One with Peterborough. It's just when they go up a league, but also when you go as one of the higher budgets in League One to one of the lowest in the Championship, you're always going to struggle. However, Peterborough for next year will be able to invest, because they've got £1 million for Ivan Toney for him playing for England yesterday. Very clever business from the ownership as be at Peterborough. Well, when they still get promotion. So stick with us. In the next probably 5 minutes, we'll talk about kind of the running really, and what I think will happen. And yeah, we're going to have a 10-minute segment on the top area and the bottom area. So don't worry. We had a brilliant season, all things considered. 49 points, mate, is phenomenal for Exeter City. Phenomenal. Looking forward to my trip to Derby on Saturday. Looks like we're going to play them at a good time. Yep. But for me, they'll come out like wounded animals. But you can get at them. If Wednesday, Ipswich and Barnsley win their game, they'd end up with 4 teams within 3 points at the top. I think I'll save it because there's a couple of games they've not come to yet. Barnsley are flying and have the easiest running. Hope they make automatics with Argyle. Be nice to see Portsmouth win the playoffs. At this moment in time, if you asked me last week or the week before, I probably did. I think one of Peterborough, Wycombe or Portsmouth will get in. If I'm honest with you, I think Wycombe are the least likely. And then I think Peterborough are the most likely because they have got the points on the board, unlike Portsmouth. Portsmouth have to put a hell of a run in, but they've got favourable fixtures as well. We'll quickly mention Accrington lost to Plymouth on Tuesday. Great result for Argyle, who have won 4 of the last 5 games. They've gone to 80 points. They've matched last season's point tally with 8 games less played as well. They've won only 1 game more. They're scoring goals, keeping clean sheets. Stephen Schumacher's doing a great job. They've got a Wembley final on Sunday, which we may have a live stream for that on Sunday from 2:30. So I am thinking about that. So if you would like to watch the game with us, just leave a comment saying yes, or do a watch along if you'd like to see that on the channel as well. Accrington, obviously back-to-back defeats. Now another red card in that game changed it. A phenomenal game between Barnsley and Wednesday, a 6-goal thriller. Barnsley scored twice within was it 60, 70 seconds? Cole and Norwood, 2 fantastic goals for different reasons. And Barnsley now, they have Exeter tomorrow, which I'll be watching with an eye on. I think they've won 10 of the last 12 games. They're playing good football. They've won 16 of the last 21 games, which is an unbelievable record. I think they've only lost 2 of those. Which one was actually to Bolton, funny enough, who were in the playoffs. But I remember they got a red card to Mads Anderson in that. A penalty kick was awarded. He scored a penalty. They're down to 10 men. All of a sudden, heads go down. But before that, they won 7 out of 8. They were on a great run. The only team they didn't beat in that run was Accrington away from home on Boxing Day. That's still a very good point. But that ended Wednesday's 23-game unbeaten run. I said it against Bolton. They looked tired. They looked a little bit shaky, and you could get at them. Wednesday, in fairness, got back into the game. They always look, like they could get back into the game. But Barnsley's, brilliant kind of attacking way, the way they play football, won in the game of football, and to score 4 is a fantastic achievement. But I think you've got to praise both football clubs. One for the run Barnsley are on, and the teams that they're beating, beating Derby at home, beating Plymouth at home, there's so many other big sides, beating Portsmouth at home, drawing away at Fratton Park. They're on a right good run at the minute. No one wants to play Barnsley. Michael Duff is one of the best managers in League One for the way he sets his teams up, for the way that, he's as a man manager. They always look defensively sound. They've always got goals in them. It takes a while to build a good shape and a good togetherness. And I said it could take 3 years for Barnsley to be where they are. For me, that was 2 years to get out of League One, which we've still got the best part of 15 months to do, if he doesn't do it this year. And then, stay up in the Championship. Then you kind of think, right, let's push on in the Championship, which Barnsley have done in the past. They got to the playoffs in the Championship, best part of 3 years ago. So it can be done. And they look phenomenal. Wednesday were on a great run. We've seen what Plymouth can do. Ipswich are they've won 6 in a row, 7 straight clean sheets. It's going to be very tight. We'll come to Wednesday Forest Green very quickly. Forest Green Rovers 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Who would have thought we'd be saying that 10 years ago? Actually, who thought we'd be saying that 36 hours ago? Never mind 10 years ago. It was a fantastic result, I think it's 14 without a win. It's Duncan Ferguson's first win. They looked excellent, Forest Green Rovers. They looked at high energy, high press. Charlie Savage has made the difference there. They played like a box shape, didn't they? With him and Pert Harris up front. And they looked like they were getting at Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday looked shaky. They looked like they didn't want to be on the ball. Every time they got the ball forward, they looked a bit out of ideas. And Forest Green Rovers had a bit more energy, a bit more heart about them, and that won them the game. Look, Sheffield Wednesday have to get back to winning ways. It's as simple as that, because they're back in it now. They've been hit back to reality. They were in a dream. If you ask Sheffield Wednesday fans, they were dreaming. They were thinking 100 points here, 100 points, 100 goals. I was thinking they could get 100 points. That was the title of the stream 2 weeks ago. Can Sheffield Wednesday go and get 100 points? Because it was well and then they were thinking, can we go and break the record? That all of a sudden has come crashing back down, and now they're thinking, right, can we get into the top 2? It's not, we're going to win the league now. It's, can we get into the top 2? And I said on Tuesday, and I got slaughtered for it, why can't Barnsley win this league? And that was before the game against Sheffield Wednesday. I said it. And then I put a tweet out when they went 1-0 up. And then they won the game and Sheffield Wednesday lost. You know, when other teams drop points, it's going to go right to the wire. And we'll have a little chat about it. But Forest Green Rovers deserve enormous credit. They got the goal. Jordan Garrick's done well since he's gone in there, the former Lincoln man, who scored against Lincoln early in the season as well. You know, a great result. Great result for them as well. So, you know, they've still got a lot to do. But improvement was there. And maybe a bit of foundation to build for next year. Now, you just want to go and get as near. You know, they're only 4 points behind Cambridge. Catch them up. Don't think about 20th just yet. Catch Cambridge up, and then you catch your next team up as well. Portsmouth 2, Port Vale 2. What was it? 2-0 at one stage to Port Vale. Port Vale, right, I'm going to say this now, they've only won 3 games in 2023. They've lost 8, drawn 4. So that's 3 wins in 15. It's not great, really. They were kind of a team that would win 5, draw 4, lose 6 type of form, really. Look, if you offered Port Vale fans a point before the game, they'd have snatched your hand off. Away at Fratton Park, in front of 17,000. Portsmouth were on a good run. You know, Portsmouth, I think, won 8 of the last 13 games going into the game, something like that. So, you know, it was always going to be a difficult match. But being 2-0 up, I think Port Vale have forgotten how to win games of football, because against Fleetwood, they were 1-0 up. They were miles the better side. They should have won the game. They concede a soft goal and they draw the game 1-1. Burton, they should have gotten a point. They lose the game. So it's that little bit of a fine rubber where you should draw, you lose, should win, you draw. Also, that's the difference between being mid-table, comfortable mid-table where Exeter, Fleetwood, Charlton are, and where Port Vale are. Port Vale were with Exeter for a lot of the season, but a couple of results, you've dipped off. I still think Port Vale will stay up, but next season they've got to kind of watch it, because if you watch the run that Burton went on last year towards the end of the season, it was not a good run, was it? And they started this season poor. So you need to kind of stop these bad habits. But Port Vale will be very, very happy with their season, because they've had a good season. It's just, you know, these results. Look, there's a lot of positives from Saturday. Matty Taylor scored his 2nd goal for the football club, 2 in 3. 5th League One goal of the season for him. Ojo got a goal, the former Belgium under-21 international, an experienced member of that squad as well. But fair play to Portsmouth, being 2-0 down, you know, at home. You know, you got pressure on you. You know, you got the supporters on your back. And I know how hostile it can be, you know, going to Portland Road. And when you're winning a game of football, they soon tell you, which I think you need. You know, they miss a penalty and you think, kind of, here we go again. But Bishop steps up to take the next one and scores. You know, he's been phenomenal all season. We'll come to him in just 30 seconds or so. And Michael Jacobs, Portsmouth's joint 2nd top goal scorer, which I think is another reason why Portsmouth aren't quite in the playoffs. You look at Bolton, you look at Barnsley, you look at Derby, you look at, you know, Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich. They've got a number of goal sources. You know, you look at Ipswich, you know, Broadhead, you know, Chaplin, you know, or, you know, West Burns, you know, even midfielders chipping with goals, Humphreys, you know. Portsmouth's problem is, it's Bishop. they haven't really got a lot of other goal sources. When Michael Jacobs is on 4, Conor Olgaard's on 4, who's a defender. Dane Scarlett, who has been a disappointment, is on 4 goals as well. That's something they need to look at, because a few years ago, when you look at their side, they had, Jamel Lowe, Ronan Curtis, Brett Pittman. Their front 3 were scoring goals. Then you had, goals from midfield as well. So that is the weakness there. But they're on a fantastic run. They're playing good football. And there's no reason why they can't get in the playoffs. They're 6 points off it. And they've been excellent under Mourinho. I think since Mourinho's come in, they would be in the playoffs as well. Bishop, in the last 8 games, he scored 7 goals and got 2 assists. I think he's got something like 4 in the last 3. So he's come alive again. He started off the season really well, went sloppy, but Portsmouth went sloppy when they lost to Ipswich. Didn't win for 14 games after then. So for me, Portsmouth are a fantastic football club, fantastic city. They've got 4-0 written all over it as well. You can't love them anymore when you've got Tom on your side as well. But let me know about your team. I want it. Well, when we go to the League One segment for the top 4 in the bottom area, I want to know your thoughts on your team's season, which I'll read out, and I'll give my thoughts as well. But again, guys, keep liking the stream. There's 70 of you in, which I do appreciate. On a Monday night, you love to see it as well. I think we're safe now, playing good football. At times, Port Vale. Yes, against us, you were excellent. It's just getting over that winning hurdle. That's it. I'm not slagging you off, because I actually really like Port Vale, and in my vlog I was very honest, and I said what I thought of them. I really like Darryl Clark as a manager. I think he's turned you around. I really like the ownership at Port Vale. It's Jamie Proctor said it. They don't splash the cash at Port Vale, but what they do is make sure everything's done properly. They're getting the right food, they're getting the washing done, they're getting the right training. The training ground's up to standard. The pitch is immaculate. They're getting the right hotels. They're getting the right, transport to the ground if they need to go on the train, which is phenomenal. Which, as a football club, if you do that, you'll stay up in League One, no doubt about it. And then you make sure you have a competitive squad to go along with it. That is all you can ask for if you want to be a mid-table competitive League One squad with an eye on the playoff potential, because anyone in League One, in my opinion, with the right funding, with the right manager, and with the right squad, can get into that top 6. You've seen this year with some of the results. Anyone can beat anyone in League One. It's football, Forest Green Rovers beat Sheffield Wednesday, 1-0. What was it? 7 months ago, the same teams, bar a couple of players, a couple of changes, played on a different pitch, and Sheffield Wednesday won 5-0. And I bet you, if they played again tomorrow at a neutral ground, it'd be a completely different result to the one on Sunday. It's mad how football can work like that. Can't believe Forest Green Rovers result of the season in League One. Would you say? Peterborough have had a championship level striker. Yeah, exactly. When you have a goal scorer that can score 20 goals a season, it takes you from being a standard mid-table squad who, let's be honest, in a lot of areas they've got, maybe, I like Clark, I like Ward, I love Jack Taylor. I think he's fantastic. One of the best midfielders in this league. He just box to box, just never stops running. Eye for a goal, He had Derby on strings the other day. Hello, I wish Fleetwood good luck for the rest of the season from a Wimbledon fan. Love that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Can Fleetwood get top 6? No, basically. We're on 49 points with 8 games to go. We can only get 73 points. Derby won't get less than 9s, basically. So, again, as an Argyle fan, I've got to admit that penalty against Derby was soft. You take them all day, though, don't you? As well. Keep the comments coming. We will come back to them as well. Wednesday will go up. They had the attitude against Forest Green Rovers that they had to turn up, get 3 points, and it was in the bank. Yep, agree with that. So, we'll talk the bottom area. Forest Green Rovers, look, to be in League One is a dream. That squad is improved since the start of the season. They've had a couple of bad results. but they've had a couple of good results, a couple of highlights. Beating Bolton, beating Sheffield Wednesday. Look, they were awful for a long period, and that's basically got them down. Are they going down? More than likely. Have they got a chance to stay up? Yes. Will they probably have to win the best part of 6 out of 8 and hope for the best? Yeah. But they're not down until they're down. And there's some fixtures they'll be looking at and thinking, we can get something there. But that is the wrong attitude. You should never do that, because Wednesday they would have gone into that thinking, not thinking of it. And he won. So go in with the right mentality of not thinking win, lose or draw. Just go in and play your best. I do think they'll go down though. Cambridge are atrocious. I think Cambridge will finish bottom of the league. If I'm honest with you, the form they're on, the football that they play, it's not great. They're quite easy to get at, and at times they've forgotten how to win a game of football. And when you forget how to win games of football and you don't get over that line, you stagnate. They seem to have been on 30 points for absolute years. A couple of draws in the last few games at home to Morecambe, which you'd be hoping to win. Morecambe, I think, I've only drawn 3 of the last 14 away matches, and they've lost the other 11. So that's more of a better result for Morecambe than it is for Cambridge. Accrington, I think, will finish next. I've said that. I think the form they're on, they haven't got the squad to compete. I look at it and I think, where's goals going to come from? Sean Wally, Tommy Lee looks to be off in the summer, which is good for him. He deserves it. Aaron Presley, it could be back-to-back relegations for him. He got relegated at AFC Wimbledon last year, but they just don't have the quality. And when you go on these bad runs, all 4 of those teams are going down for different reasons. Forest Green Rovers awful run. Cambridge, absolute atrocious run. Accrington just keep getting players sent off, losing the disciplinary, losing games of football at key moments. And Morecambe's away record is an absolute disgrace. At home, Morecambe are a mid-table side, so that's the difference. When Forest Green Rovers have only taken, I think it's something like 16 points at home, you're going to be struggling, aren't you? So you look at Wimbledon last year. Was it 24 games they went without a win? It's difficult, isn't it? This is an Accrington team that finished top half last year after they beat Wimbledon on the final day of the season. So I think the bottom 4 will be as it is now, because I see Oxford improving. I really do, under Manning, and I think they'll have enough quality. MK Dons have improved. They've got, the last few results has been amazing. Cheltenham have improved. They're unbeaten in 4. They've currently got the third best, unbeaten run in the league, and they get Picture on 10. And then you've got Barnsley's unbeaten run as well. So, with Sheffield Wednesday losing theirs. But no, these are bad times, that bottom 4. And out of those bottom 4, I don't think any will come back up next season. I really don't, because I see Forest Green Rovers, they'll have a go, but I don't see them getting promotion easily. Accrington and Morecambe just don't have the facilities to go again. It'll have to be a fairy tale of a season. And I think Cambridge need a lot of therapy. I think Cambridge could do what Crewe are doing right now in, lower League 2 level. So a lot of those teams need to go down, look at the recruitment and get it right if they're going to come back up, because you've seen the teams that went down last year from League 1. Doncaster struggling. They're on an awful run now under Danny Schofield. Crewe on a bad run. Wimbledon pretty much all season have been up, down, up, down. And then Gillingham were awful, got new owners, brought in Tom Nichols and Ollie Hawkins, and everything seems hunky-dory. They're like the 3rd best team in the league since January, since they've been able to get their own squad in, because they weren't great. They were the lowest goal scorers in the Football League, but none of them are going to come back up. So is it going to be 2 years in a row? It's good because League 1 gets a total shake-up. You don't want these teams going up, down, do you? We'll come to some comments, and I promise you we will go in to the top 4. Napa's just got a leaflet. I have a feeling that's something Ipswich Town win your players last game of the season, pleased to win promotion. It'd make a good vlog, but that's about it, I think. Barnsley have more depth before with Luke Thomas coming back and Watters and Teddy. Yeah, when Luke Thomas got injured for the best part of 3 months, I think he got injured at Fleetwood, didn't he? If I remember rightly. He was fantastic, what I saw of him. Really good player. The former Coventry man. 23 games unbeaten still below Little Argyle. Argyle have been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Where when Bannon collects the ball from the centre-backs, Owls have a problem. Yes, Bannon needs to be up the pitch, not having to sweep up, basically. Gary Keckers Argyle, our secret agent, brilliant player. Vale have too many strike options. Taylor, Harrison, Proctor, Wilson. Spoke just Dan Butterworth as well. Got a couple of youngsters on the books as well there. Wednesday already seeing the impact of losing key players. Argyle lost Cooper and Whittaker early on. Scar was also out for a while. We're still there grinding out results. Yeah, absolutely bang on. And I got criticised in January for saying losing Whittaker is the biggest blow anyone will have in League One this season, in my opinion, for what he offered, because the goal contributions and his impact on the pitch was fantastic. You can't back away from that. But you added depth to replace these players who maybe weren't quite as good as the starting 11, but the likes of Jay Mattetti, who I think has been good in an Argyle shirt so far this season as well. So, you've got lots of options. I'd rather take him staying up by goal difference at the start of the season. Yeah, I said that last year, and look what happened. We just about did it. 100% losing to the worst team in the league. EFL comes with a catch after all. Will Chair boys make playoffs? They're in with a chance, but I don't think so. As a Barnsley fan, if we didn't go up, at least we'd. I've got to look forward to this. Good job, mate. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Again, if you are new, please subscribe down below. It does help me out more than you could know. And also like the stream because it also helps bring in people into the stream and the channel. We did a video on Friday, again, which was fantastically supported. And we've got Fleetwood vlogs on the way as well. We've got, to be fair, Fleetwood's running. We play Forest Green Rovers. We play Accrington. We play Cambridge. We play MK Dons. So we play 4 of that bottom area. We're going to have a real impact on that bottom 4. We also have Bolton. And we also have Ipswich. So it's going to be really interesting. The other 2 games, on Saturday we play Exeter, and then on good Easter Monday we play Bristol Rovers. So we've kind of got an impact on the playoff race and also the bottom 4 race. So I don't think Barnsley will be looking at the playoffs. I think Barnsley can kind of think, right, let's do our jobs, get into the playoffs, but top 2. I think... Right, we're going to go on to it now. I think 4 teams will get 90 plus points. Now, I did some calculations yesterday, and I know some fans are going to kill me. I think Ipswich 93 points. Again, I have Barnsley on 95, Plymouth on 96, and Wednesday on 97 or 98, one of the 2. It's going to be between 3 or 4 points. Ipswich is running, let's be honest, it's difficult. Wycombe at home, Derby away. It's one of those run-ins that you kind of think it's awkward for them, but also it's also very good for them because if they go away at Barnsley and win, it changes the perspective. Barnsley beating Sheffield Wednesday has kind of thought, well, we're back in the title race, and it's kind of brought Ipswich back in the title race. And kind of brought Wednesday kind of back in the promotion race. So it's kind of changed the whole defection of the league by one result. One result has an effect on 3 or 4 teams. You saw that with Wednesday losing yesterday. And look, I like every team in League One for different reasons. Maybe not every team, but anyway, I have to be unbiased towards every team in League One. Just not on match days after a few beers. No, I'm only joking. But I like Wednesday, and it'd be good to see them go up for different reasons. I'm kind of glad as a League One supporter that they've lost a couple of games because it made it interesting. If Wednesday beat Barnsley and beat Forest Green Rovers, you could basically hand them the title. They'd be on 84 points with still a game in hand, basically. They play Charlton on Wednesday, which is that game in hand when everything's been played again, because Ipswich have got international break, Barnsley international break, Plymouth international break. Plymouth don't play next week as well, which could have an effect. But I think it's and also what I think is key is when teams play. Now, Plymouth went 5 points ahead of Ipswich on Tuesday, right? Although they've been 5 points ahead at different stages anyway, them playing that game and winning the game, also Ipswich's mindset has to go, we've got to win 2 games, not 1, to get above them. Although you've got that extra game in hand, which you should win. If you want to get out of League One, you should win. Let's be honest, you should be winning 5 games a month if you want to win promotion, 4 or 5 games a month. If Plymouth would have lost that game, right, they would have, or drawn it, say they drop points, and then Ipswich play next weekend and win and go on the same amount of points as them, all of a sudden, then it's a different ball game because Plymouth haven't played, but they've still got a game in arrear for the final. So it's weird how it can pan out and how the teams can put pressure on. That will have an impact, in my opinion. But all 4 teams are going to get above 92 points in my calculations. Now, I think in the last few years, I worked it out, an average of about, you needed about 93 points to win the league. I said, if you get 2 points a game in League One, you'll win promotion. In pretty much every league, you should, 92 points, be honest, you should win promotion bare minimum. And if they all get above 92 points, there's a guarantee of 1 not going up, potentially 2 not going up, and potentially they could meet in the playoff final as well, because 3rd will play 6th and 4th will play 5th. So it's very, very close. Barnsley's running is very favourable, in my opinion, and they're on the best run. I do think they'll get 3rd, in my opinion. I think Ipswich will nick 4th. But then I'll be sat here next week and it could go totally different. I just think Wednesday will get over that line. That is a very, very difficult game on Wednesday against Cheltenham. Very difficult. Very hard place and horrible place to go to, especially on a Wednesday. And it's a type of game that they could slip up because Cheltenham will raise their game because they still need a win to stay up, really. Wednesday aren't in great form. It's going to be very, very difficult because it'll go to the last day of the season where goal difference could be needed, where you see teams pushing now for that second goal. Plymouth will be slightly disappointed they didn't win by more against Accrington, against 10 men. And you're coming away from the game thinking, we've only won 2. Because Ipswich's goal difference is far superior to them when you think about it. So you're going to be comparing all these situations. But how close it is ridiculous, you know. Barnsley at Oakwell, phenomenal. Barnsley winning games away. Tomorrow they play Exeter as well, which I'll be watching with a keen eye, which is another difficult place to go to, hard place to go. But the form, you think, they should win. And if they go there and win, the pressure they put Sheffield Wednesday under on Wednesday, which when I say when you play these games, it changes everything in a player's mind. But Darren Moore should have Wednesday players focus on the job. Where do you see this title race going? Because I keep going over different situations in my head. I don't think we'll see a team get 100 points because I think the league's too competitive. But to get 90 odd points and not win promotion, man, it was bad enough when Shrewsbury got 89 and finished 3rd. Never mind 4 teams getting over 90. You know, it's more than truly on. And then you've got Derby County, Bolton, Wycombe, Peterborough and Portsmouth all for the playoffs. It is, and Shrewsbury have got a game in hand on Portsmouth, only 3 points back. If they win that game in hand, you'd have to include, I don't think they'll get the playoffs, don't get me wrong, but you'd have to include Shrewsbury because you've included Portsmouth because it's the only thing right to do. But League One's just crazy. Like, Fleetwood might be boring to watch at times, and we're not doing anything this season. A bit like me with a woman not doing anything. But you know, at the top end, it's just bonkers. And this title race is well and truly on because the quality of other teams getting back in it, and then a little bit of a blip. Whoever doesn't blink in the last 8 games will get promoted. There'll be a couple of blips. It won't be as plain sailing as all those 4 teams will be thinking. There'll be a couple of blips where you lose and you draw, and you take 1 point from 6. And you go into the Saturday game thinking we've got a win to stay alive and hope for results. That's all it takes. 2 games, 2-game blip, it changes everything. 2-game blip for Wednesday has kind of got them from winning the league, getting record points, to can they squeeze into the top 2, and all of a sudden, imagine if they slip inside the playoffs and don't do anything again. It's going to be very, very tight. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We're going to come to them now. Our next 3 or 4 games are away. Yes. You've got Morecambe away coming up, haven't you? I know that. There are some difficult games coming up for Argyle when you look at who they played recently as well. But they've gone to good sides this year and got results. And if you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And I've said it for a couple of weeks now. The last 8 games of the season aren't normal because they're not a normal 8 games. Teams panic. Relegation teams, like Forest Green Rovers, relegation, as soon as they think, we could get relegated here, they turn it to bloody Real Madrid. It's like, you've been Forest Green Rovers all season. Where's this come from? And it's like, that's what happens at the end of the season. Livelihoods at football clubs, not players, staff. You're playing for them, really. And you're kind of playing for your future at that football club because Accrington and Morecambe will have to cut budgets. So will Cambridge and Forest Green Road if they have to go down as well. You lose season ticket sales. It has a massive effect on football clubs between what league you're in. Sheffield Wednesday go up, they'll add to the season ticket sales. I know they've had to have a reduced capacity to Hillsborough now due to Newcastle, the Newcastle game, which is bizarre. Don't get me started on that. It wasn't even Wednesday's fault. And Barnsley, they'll sell more tickets in a higher division. Score prediction for Ipswich v Derby. If I'm honest with you, mate, when I predicted it, I had a drawdown, which I think would be a good result for both football clubs, in my opinion. But Ipswich need to win the game. Ipswich need to win the game. If you go there and don't lose, it's a good result for me. But Ipswich have different ambitions. They want to win the league. And also, by the way, I'll say just one thing quickly before I come to the next few comments. Ipswich, Barnsley and Plymouth, the tails will be up after watching Wednesday lose a couple of games. They'll be believing. But also, that invites pressure as well because they're kind of thinking about it a little bit more. Fans are thinking about it a bit more. There's more pressure on games. Football is gripping, isn't it? It's gripping. How can you not like football? Bar when you're losing the last minute every week. Last season, and I came home every week crying from football thinking we're going to get relegated. And then Barnsley away, Bolton away, I'm going to the games, basically having a panic attack thinking we're going to go down here. And Gillingham was staying on to a draw. We were drawing at the time as well. And I'm thinking, oh my God, we're going to stay up on goal difference. And look what happened. We stay up on goal difference and I'm out celebrating like we'd won the World Cup final. That's what football can do. My dad loves your channel. Keep up the good work. Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate that as well. I'm still fuming about the result, mate. 9 games to go. That's all you got to think of. The interesting thing is when I go through the results for the top 2 who have got to go up, I've got them winning pretty much all the home games. Because I don't see Plymouth or Wednesday losing the home. Their home form is ridiculous. Over the last 2 years, both their home form is phenomenal. Wow. I'm thinking Fleetwood is unbelievable because we've gone 5 unbeaten. Never mind losing 1 out of 18 games. Phenomenal. I can see Lincoln getting a win at Hillsborough on Saturday. Always seem to play well against the big boys. Portman Road, for example, as well. Plymouth to win the league. They have a great running compared to the others. Why not? Why not? Everyone said they're going to blip. To get 80 points after 38 games, when you got 80 points last year, missed out on the playoffs, to go again for a team like Plymouth, on a budget like Plymouth is ridiculously good. Is well done. Well done to everyone at that football club. It's not just Stephen Schumacher. You've got to praise the hierarchy as well and the supporters at home park. For me, I've said many times, I think Plymouth are one of the best supported teams in League One. For me, they're taking, 38,500 fans to Wembley. It really is good. And Bolton also deserve credit because I think they sold 34,000 as well. It's going to be a great game and a great advert for League One as well. Although all the boycotters coming out for the day as well. I'd be going. I have things to say on that trophy, but I'd go to the final. Fleetwood in the final. Easy win for the Owls v the Imps. Terrible at the moment. It's a different game when you're at Hillsborough. Evening all. Score predictions for Derby. Ipswich may just answered that one, didn't I? Where do you think Ipswich will finish? 4th. But not 4th as in 4th. Like 4th as in very close to 2nd. Big week for Barnsley this week. Extra away. Very tough game. And Morecambe at home. If you can get 4 points, and now you've got to assess it. 4 points, very good. No good. 6 points, bang, you're in line. Hi Nappers, how are you doing, mate? Colin the Go from Ipswich. Hope you're all good, Colin. I'm good as well, mate. Good to hear from you and maybe see you on the last day of the season as well. I'll be at the game nice and early, speaking to all supporters, and hopefully, I would like it if Ipswich could still win the league or win promotion in the last game of the season as a League One fan, but also because it makes our last 8 games of the season very interesting, because there's nothing worse. On Saturday, it was horrible. It was horrible. Nothing to play for. No real atmosphere. It was like a pre-season friendly again. And you want competitive football in League One. It was great to win, but it was like, well, I want to, you want to be pushing for something. At least last year, it was horrible, but when you won or got a point, it meant everything. It meant everything. Where's an Ipswich bottle at Plymouth and Barnsley for the autos? Wow. The amount of different pairs you can have. I don't know why, but Argyle don't know how to beat Fleetwood. Yeah, 4 points this year we took off you. Last year we took 2 points off you. Kind of weird the downfall. If you'd beaten us last year, you'd have gotten the playoff. And this year, you'd be clear. Especially that one at Highbury, the first game. Derby away will be light work. Well, it was for us. Ipswich Town win all 9 games. I don't think any of the top 4 win all 9 games. I'm very sure on that. I'm taking 1 game at a time. Best way to be. I wouldn't want to be at Wembley Stadium at this stage of the season. No, both teams need that game out of the way. That's the biggest thing that can happen. Ipswich strength and depth might be the difference. They've got players coming back and the striker options. Nathan Broadhead scored for Wales at the weekend as well, didn't he? I got 38k, yeah, bang on as well. I'd rather play Bristol Rovers in the league instead of Bolton at Wembley. Oh, big call. It can put you off. It's slightly later this year, a couple of weeks later into than it had been in previous years. I'm Ipswich, but 1 game at a time. You just can't predict this league. But Argyle averaged 16,000. They fill the ground, and their away support is very good as well. It's not all about having 25,000 fans in your stadium. Fans can be good for different reasons, in my opinion. I could have played better with 10 men than the 11. Less pressure, maybe. Which is a complete sellout, hardly living up to you. Exactly. I don't even know anymore. It's proper squeaky bum time. It's bizarre. 4th for Ipswich. Yeah. But it's going to be so close. Ipswich could easily win the league. Any of those 4 teams. Wednesday could finish 4th. I just don't think they will. Argyle, yeah. Don't get me started. I don't see Ipswich getting top 2, but if they do, they deserve it with the fixtures they have. Yeah, absolutely. Argyle have 4 players coming out from injuries. Yeah, having players coming out from injury can be good, but also can be a little bit of a bad thing as well. MK Don stayed up? Yes, quite comfortably. I had MK Don to finish 17th, actually, when I did my predictions 2 weeks ago, looking at all the games. But also I had Derby finishing 4th at one stage. We're staying up, by the way. Potentially. I tell you what, if you stay up after Fleetwood's tweet back, notice how no one is fancying Wednesday anymore after the first wobble of the year. Yeah, Mike, I still think you'll get over the line. I really do, because of the quality that you've got. everyone in League One, and I said this last year about Wigan, has a wobble at some stage of the season. And it's how you bounce back from it. And I say you have a 5-game bad patch and a 46-game. You can have a 4 or 5-game patch. Wednesday have 38 games. Is it the right or the wrong time? You could say wrong, but you could also say right. You don't want it with 4 games to go, do you? And you to completely blow it up. But you're still on 78 points from 37 games. You could still go and get 104 points. You know, so 105 points. I thought you got 77 points on for a minute. So you could easily go and get promoted with that, which you will, if you got 105. But I've got you to win all your home games. Then you've got to kind of think, right, we need 1.5 points up a game average away. So, look, it'd be good for Wendy to get over the line. Darren Moore is a top fella. He really is. He's done a very good job at that football club, not just in results-wise. He's brought the club back together because it was a mess 2 years ago. And tell you what, if you do get promoted by the last game of the season, he always likes to clap along to Hi-O Silver Lining, doesn't he? He'll be going full on, like, arms in the air, scarf round it, Stone Island on. He'd be in the cop, I think. But no. I want to ask you guys in the comments. We'll do an extra 5-10 minutes tonight. Not that I'm getting excited about League One or anything. Who would you rather have in your dugout? You need to win promotion, right? Would you stick with your manager, or would you want to change for, say if you were a Barnsley fan, would you want to change for one of Schumacher, McKenna, or Darren Moore? Now, I look at it for all 4 managers for different reasons. I think Darren Moore is a calm manager. Sometimes can be labelled as a bit boring and dull, but he gets his players and he's like one game at a time, and he knows how to treat his players. Like when they came out of the dressing room all smiling after the Barnsley defeat and basically thought, what a run we've been on, but the job's not finished. And that's what you want. But he's never been able to get over that line yet. Schumacher's very young, but he's very exciting and, speaks well. He's got the players playing good football, but again, could be a bit vulnerable, but he's done a very, very good job. We're probably the least budgeted squad out of the 4. Him and Barnsley, really. Duff, I'd probably say is the one that I'd want, if I'm honest with you, the most, because he's experienced. He's won promotion before with Cheltenham. I think he did it automatically as well. He's very good, a defensive coach. He's got a system. They're on the best run. And he's a very good man manager as well. McKenna, sometimes his plan B, he's a bit stubborn and doesn't have a plan B. But the run that he's got them on, the way he's coached them to not concede goals, how fit they are, how strong they are, with the best squad, to be honest, in the league on paper. But football's played on grass. It's not played on played on paper. I know they paid a lot of money, but not paid. Who would you want for your team? I'd probably go Duff, Moore, Schumacher, McKenna. But that is very close. Very close. I'm only saying McKenna last because I think Schumacher's done a better, not a better job, but he's got a less talent, less depth. Obviously, they're above him in the league. McKenna's done fantastic what he's done in the last 15 months at Ipswich. Is phenomenal. I was turning around from a joke, conceding goals softly, to clean sheet pretty much 1 and 2, to winning games of football. 7 straight clean sheets. Duff's got the experience of doing it. And Darren Moore, there's just something about him that I love as a community man. And I just think I'd love it if he got them promoted as well. Well done, Plymouth Argyle. Barnsley to win the league as well. Every time I go away with Argyle, I have to leave at 5 a.m. Not many fans from other clubs have to do that. I always say they are the best types of away games. Give me Plymouth away over Morecambe away every day of the week. Now, Burnley, I'll be honest with you, people slag off our support. We took 1849 to Burnley, I think the number was. And I hated every minute of it because There was fans I'd never seen before. It was just, yeah, it wasn't great. And we've taken 30 to Wycombe, Ipswich on a Tuesday night. It was never the number they said because I counted. And I love Ipswich away more when there's less of us and we have to. It's a longer journey. There's just something about it I like. I don't know how other people feel about that. Thoughts on the Oxford downfall? Well, there was always going to be a downfall for Oxford when you're losing key players every summer. But very surprised it's happened this year. But they'll stay up. Right choice to change now, in my opinion. I didn't think they'd change till the end of the year. Barnsley v Peterborough, no thank you. Could be anyone. Plymouth, also with the playoffs, you've got to make sure you're at home second leg. That's huge. Plymouth have been punching above their weight and have powered through. Don't need mega bucks in this league. Just a dedicated chairman, manager and staff, not forgetting the Green Army. Bang on. What's a comment? Bang on. When you've got the right chairman, when you've got a good manager, a good system in place, a good fan base, a good pitch, good training facilities, you've got everything going right for you in a good direction, you'll go for it. And Plymouth Argyle have done it. I don't think Plymouth Argyle will get a better opportunity to win promotion than this year. It's in their hands. It is in their hands with 8 games to go. Not to make you nervous. Great stream again, Ben. Best of luck to Barnsley and Cheltenham this week. Thanks very much, Tony. Ben, which Fleetwood shirt will you be wearing, home or away? Ben, which Fleetwood shirt will Jake be wearing? I like the way someone's remembered that. Yeah, me and Jacob had a little bet at the start of the year. So he did this weekend, a little swine. He brought down a Lincoln City top. And he went, there you are. You'll be wearing that at the end of the year. I didn't have his Fleetwood shirt ready. So I'm starting to think maybe I can post it. But I'm not going to get too confident yet. Lewis, you dirty dog. Thoughts on Liam Manning appointment at Oxford? Very good. Very good. And at one stage I thought, well, he could keep Oxford up at the state of MK Dons here. No, like it a lot. I don't think you'll see what you want to see this year. Just getting results, getting over the line. Then next year you'll see the football being implemented. Shuey all the way. His tactics and subs are spot on. McKenna has no plan B. I love Schumacher, not just because he was at Fleetwood. He's a scouser. He's a proper warrior. He's a fighter. He's childhood growing up. He, as a player, you saw it on the pitch, and as a manager, he's got so much energy. He's not one of these managers that go in and it's low energy, and he's just so good. Duff, every day of the week, I think he's the best and most down-to-earth manager. Yeah, very good. I love him. I love all 4 of them, but if you have to order them, it's so hard. I wonder if Bream, another ex-Argyle player, scores against Wednesday. Yeah, again. Also, used to play for Peterborough as well, so could maybe help them in the running as well. Kieran McCann is the best manager in League One. If you could have any manager at League One for Fleetwood, Carl Robinson, he's out of work. I wouldn't change for Scott Brown just yet because I think Brown's done a decent enough job this year, personally. Overall, the football's been drab at times, don't get me wrong, and tactics not great at times, but they've improved over the last few weeks with the squad getting better. So give him time, but he develops players and sells them on, which is Fleetwood's model. So it's huge for that. I've seen no reason to have no faith in my manager, McKenna, all the way. I think you'd all stick with your manager. I think that's the right thing to do. I'm happy with Brown. I feel next season will be a different team again under his leadership. Yeah, we need to go on again, though. Great comment, Chris. McKenna's definitely not the best manager in the league. Everett's up there as well. There's so many others not in that top 4, but we're not speaking about that at the moment. That's what I was saying before. I got slaughtered for that when I said that in December. Argyle took 4 points off him. Tell you what, that point at Portman Road where Ballymumba scored in the 90+ 3rd minute, 4th minute, could win Argyle promotion and could put it into the playoffs. That one result, it's bonkers. McKenna all the day. I like Kennedy. I think when he gets his players in and we see an improvement, when you look at Ethan, Dylan and Duffy, yes, absolutely. I think you need a 15 a season goal scorer, but It's a lot of players looking for them. I think maybe have a look at Mendes Gomez on loan. I think Jakey Boy was eyeing him up on Saturday, but I was like, nope, you're not having a look at him. McKenna has a problem with he changes the team every week, but now he's learned. Yeah, good comment. He's on after Saturday's team talk would swap Scott Brown for Nappers every day of the week. Nigel Clubb is a perfect fit for the cause, but never happened. Yeah, I did meet Scott Brown. One game, one win. Get us in, Pilly. Get us in. The players know me. You know, well, they do after Saturday, put it that way. You know, we've implemented it. You know, we're gonna go on an unbeaten streak, and I'll take this team places where they've never been before. And unlike Barton, I'm gonna take him up not to Crown Prison. Dove hasn't had a penny to spend and done an amazing job. But if you look at Cheltenham, he didn't really have bucks to spend there either. So he's kind of that manager that can work within his resources and improve players as well. But he needs players to fit his system, and he's been able to do that on a budget, which I agree with. The Managerial fans are losing faith in Nigel Clough. He is one of those that can kind of do a good job for a time and then kind of need to move on. Look at Burton. Yeah, very good comment. Do you think Fleetwood will ever play in the Championship? I see no reason why Fleetwood wouldn't get to the Championship. It's my dream to watch Fleetwood in the Championship. If we had 1 year in the Championship and we finished bottom, I wouldn't be bothered because I've seen my team in the second tier of English football. So all I ever ask for, well, it isn't, but footballing wise, please, we've been near, but I don't think we've had the right. It's annoying because the 2 years up to the playoffs, we had the right manager, wrong team. And in the second year, we had the right team, wrong manager. Put Uber in charge of the squad we had 3 years ago. Mayfield, we got to the final at least. Super Cods. Beat Derby, watch us go down. Watch us go then. Just bought tickets for our Plymouth away for another big giant killing. Long way, eh? Long way. What a rubbish channel. Cheers, mate. Have a good day. Not happy, but this team is a long-term project. We are trying to get through your comments, and then we'll come to the end of the stream. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Have you got a soft spot team for any other teams outside of League One? Ooh, Spurs, but that's due to obviously just family. My mum watched them growing up as well, so them obviously got a lot of friends who support Spurs as well. Other than that, not really. I'll look out for teams. I'll look out for Salford because Alex Cairns. I am actually going to go and watch Salford on Friday as well, just because, you know, Alex Cairns. I don't love him, but yeah, okay, I love him because he's like, for me, he is a Fleetwood legend. Like, all-time Fleetwood Town appearance maker in the EFL. You know, 8 years of service. Not treated very well towards the end. If Ipswich beat if, I don't want to hear it. I want to see you do it. The feel-good factor at Ipswich is immense. It is around the other three clubs at the moment as well, pretty much. But, you know, good to see it, Ipswich. Should we get in playoffs next season? Why not? You know, why not challenge? Sorry, Mr. Stark. Top chat as always. For Nappers. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Keep the comments coming. Please like the stream. There's 85 of you guys in. So if you could click that like button, that'd be appreciated. If you've not subscribed already, please subscribe down below. It would be massively appreciated as well. If we can go up to the Championship, so can Fleetwood. Look at Yeovil. Look at Burton. You know, dare to dream as well. Over 20,000 season tickets. Phenomenal. Fleetwood would sell more. Take care, Nappers. Thanks very much. Thoughts on Port Vale? Good football club, ran properly. Love your vid so much. So humble. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thoughts on? I've just answered that one. Papa John's trophy predictions. We'll leave that because we're going to do a stream on Sunday for that. All being well. But we are going to end today's stream here. Thank you so much for your support. A bumper 75-minute episode talking League One. It's crazy, isn't it? We've got the weekend games as well, which we mentioned a little bit in the stream as well. Thank you so much for watching. Again, you know, these videos and streams aren't what they are without you guys as well. So I do really appreciate you guys coming in and popping along your support. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you in the week with a couple more League One videos. We've got Exeter at home on Saturday. And all being well, we'll have a stream for you on Sunday watching the Papa John's Trophy Final. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, I will see you later. Up the League One and up the Cods. Jaden Stockley's on my mind, and he's Fleetwood's number 9.